Here with my man Stephen Breadman Edwards. What's good, Brett?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm chilling. Fight week.
Yeah. I got 3 of them on Saturday night at the Valley Forge Casino.
Oh shit, you got 3? I thought it was just JYD. Who else you got?
Iran JYD Peterson. I got Sean McCalman and Dylan Price.
Oh, so you just picked up Dylan
And Sean.
Sean?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
is
you
this
know I
your
had
first
to.
fight with him?
First fight with Dylan and Sean, and obviously JYD.
Yeah. All right, so JYD, undefeated middleweight. He's I'm not going to say he's in contender status yet, but he's looking like a blue chip prospect and starting to head into like taking those, the fights where the guy's like 15-3 or solid record.
He's getting there.
Yeah.
He's getting there.
What's your thoughts on his progression so far?
I love it, man. I love it. I love the kid. That's all I can say. I just love everywhere he's going. I love everything he's doing. That's my guy. I love training him. And we just want to just take our time and just keep progressing and, just kind of just cultivate things and just let him just keep developing. And when that right opportunity comes, he's 12-0 now. So you can only fight one fight at a time. So I just want to get him to his next fight. And we got a tough fight coming up. So I really don't want to talk about too much past this fight.
Brett, he's a devastating puncher, right? But probably the most unique thing about him is he's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen, but also he's super entertaining outside the ring. And he has this weird balance where a lot of guys can't balance it. They work really hard and then they don't know the entertainment value, or they know the entertainment value and bullshit in the gym. He's like the perfect combination of the two.
He got the it factor, the social media following, and I just let him be. I tell him to turn the camera off when we're doing our serious work, because I don't want everybody to see that. But other than that, he supports his family, and he got the it factor. He definitely knows it. For him to have the social media following that he has, and he's never fought on TV, it says a lot. I'm just looking forward to seeing where he goes.
What's your expectations for this Saturday? Another terrible John? Terrible as in for the opponent?
I don't like to get into that because every dog had a day. You know what I mean? I don't like to get into that because we could, I expect him to win though, and he's been training hard, and he knows that this is going to be a tough opponent. The kid is 9-3. At one time, he was an undefeated prospect, so he knows that the kid's going to be trying to hurt him and trying to win and try to take away everything he has. So I don't like to brag. I don't get into that, but I expect a great performance, and I expect him to do his thing, and I expect him to win. How he wins, I don't know. You know what I mean? I know he has a lot of knockouts, but I don't like to say it's going to be a knockout. But hopefully we do get a knockout, and leave it out of the judge hands, But we're not going to force it. We're going to fight a good fight, and we'll see what happens. But he's in tremendous shape, and he's been looking good.
What can we expect from Dylan and Sean, being that this is your first outing out with him? Dylan was approaching world level, and Sean's a prospect, right?
Sean's more of a contender. He's 16-1.
Oh, he's 16-1. Okay.
Yeah, he's 16-1. Sean is he's coming along. It might take a couple of camps for us to get when people fight, learn how to fight in different places. We got a unique thing here in Philly, the way we spar, the way we fight, and things like that. So Sean we probably need a couple more camps, but he's been looking good. He got some great instincts. And Dylan is Dylan, man. Dylan just got caught in this fight, and it could happen to anybody. Fight before that, and I expect Dylan to put on the show. He's ready to go. He's chopping at the bit. Dylan, the mean little dude, man, and he got a lot of heart and a lot of skills. He remind me of J-Rock a little bit. Smaller size. They can box and they sharp, but they got their killer attitude. They want to hurt you, and I expect Dylan to shine.
Is it easier to teach a guy coming off of a loss than coming off of, dominating wins or being on a streak?
I've had it all. You know what I mean? I've had guys come to me off of losses, and I've had guys that I brought up, and then they lose, and then you got to bring them back. I think it just lies in the person. You know what I mean? Sometimes you lose and it mess with your confidence, and sometimes you lose and you know how to compartmentalize it. It just depends. It depends on the person. With Dill super easy to train. I've been knowing him forever. You know what I mean? Training in the city, seeing him in the gym. Me and his dad is cool, real cool. And he's used to spar my guy, Romuel Cuco Cruz. So we done boxed him about 100 rounds, so I know him, you know what I'm saying? So picking him up is just a matter of sort of just, you know, I know how to massage a guy's ego, man, and make him feel good about certain things. And, you know, losing is not as big a deal as social media and everybody try to make it out to be. You know what I mean? It's just one thing in your life where you wasn't having your best day. That's it. You know, and you gotta be able to live with that if you're gonna be successful at anything.
All right. It was a fight that he was clearly winning, clearly ahead, and you just got caught with a shot. Is that one of those things where is that why trainers are always very meticulous with, like, yo, bring your hands back, stay on point, don't take any guy lightly?
Sure. You know, it probably was a little bit more than that. You know, he probably made a mistake over and over again, and then the guy finally got the chance to capitalize on it. But sure, you got to be meticulous because this is a game of inches, and every little thing matters. All the little details of everything you're doing, it matters. So, but we on point, and you're gonna see a real good version of Dylan Price. I get a lot of guys in this situation, so I'm used to it, man. And it's just about keeping their self-esteem up. You know what I mean? That's really what it's about. It's about keeping their self-esteem up and not letting, you know, the outside world dim their light and make them feel less than what they really are.
Okay. All right, another one of your fighters, Caleb Plant. He's coming off of a loss to Resendiz, right? You know,
Armando Resendiz.
Yeah, Armando Resendiz. You know, we hearing grumblings about, you know, Charlo, Berlanga. Can you kind of like peel back the curtain? What could possibly be next?
I'm not going to be training Caleb. So I really don't know I've been hearing about his future fights, but I really don't, you know what's going on. But I'm not going to be training Caleb anymore.
All right, I know, you know, that those situations be kind of dicey, but can you elaborate? Like, did something happen? Was it the loss? Was it, you know, him wanting to go in another direction? Like,
I don't really know what direction he want to go in, but I just, you know, I let him know about 3 or 4 weeks after the fight that it probably would, you know, that I would be stepping away from training him. I never really talked about it, but I'm hearing the Charlo fight and different fights that people keep asking me. So, it's just something I let him know. This was way back in June. I want to say I got a love for Caleb, so it's not a thing of like it's a confrontational relationship or anything. It's nothing like that. He don't owe me no money or nothing like that. I know everybody want to get the clickbait and say like, you know, make it seem like something bad happened. It's just that sometimes relationships just run their course, and I could just put it like that, you know. And you know, I got respect for him, so I wasn't gonna put him in a situation where he have a fight and then I tell him I'm not gonna train him. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that to him. So 3 to 4 weeks after the fight, sometime towards the end of June, I think he fought May 31st. Sometime towards the end of June, I let him know that I would be, you know, I wished him luck and I thanked him for the opportunity, but I let him know that I wasn't going to be coming back.
A lot of times it's the fighter that chooses to part ways, but, you know, you're telling me that it was you that made the decision.
Well, I can't say what he chose because we haven't really talked after the fight. So I don't want to put words in his mouth and say he might have been let me go. I don't know that, but I just know that I told him, you know, I gave him my letter of resignation, like I said, like towards the end of June. I don't really want to get into the reasons, you know what I mean? Because obviously he lost the fight and things like that, and but it's just I wouldn't be able to give him the best version of myself anymore, and you know, again, I'm not upset with him. As far as I know, he's not. I can't speak for him. I don't know if he's upset with me, but it was just the camp was just different. You know, I felt like we had 3 great camps. You know, with Darrell was our first camp, and I felt like that he was doing things that that he wasn't known to do, and the Darrell knockout, in my opinion, was one of the best knockouts of the decade. And he got that knockout late in the 9th or 10th round, I believe. You know, and then we had the Benavidez fight. Benavidez, to me, is a generational talent. And they hated each other before that fight. And, you know, after Benavidez won fair and square, but after the fight, they didn't hate each other no more because Caleb earned this respect because he fought such a good fight. And he stood up to him, you know what I mean? And that's what it takes when you fighting a killer like that. They need to see you stand up to him, and then now they cool. And in the McCombie fight, to me, it was a perfect camp. He did something again in the fight that people didn't expect him to do, and that's walk somebody down and stop him late, because Caleb's not known for that. You know, the criticism of him is, you know, he don't finish the fights as strong as he starts them. And for this camp right here, it was just different. And yeah, I mean, that's all I can say. You know, it's nothing bad. You know, I'm not mad at him. I'm not disappointed at him. If anything, I'm just a little confused on why the camp didn't go the way it normally would go. But it's life, and you know, we'll move on. But I got nothing but respect and admiration for Caleb, man. He gave me a big opportunity, and we had some good camps together, and we worked our butts off. And I thought I made him a better fighter. You know, just this last camp, I can't tell you what went wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. You know, I did hear some stuff about he was overtrained. That wasn't true. He never was overtrained. I never really addressed it or had to defend myself because Caleb didn't say that I overtrained him, but I did hear people kind of say that I overtrained him, that he was overtrained for this fight, and that's not true. If you ever get a chance, you can ask him. Caleb is real conscious about being overtrained, so he wasn't overtrained. And you know, everybody has their own little assessments on what they think happened, instead of like talking to the person that it happened to. He wasn't overtrained, you know, and I'm not upset about that. I'm just putting that out there because I've been hearing that all over the internet for the past 5 months, and I never really had a chance to address it. And I didn't take the guy lightly. You know, that was something else that was like asked, you know, off camera and on the camera. Like, did y'all take him lightly? I don't take nobody lightly. You know what I mean? If I'm leaving my family and traveling back and forth and subjecting myself to, like, that's a lot of work. You know what I mean? I'm not in this game to take nobody lightly. So that's probably what the one time that I did do an interview was after the fight. You heard me saying, like, no, I didn't take him lightly. I actually talked about how tough this fight was going to be. I've seen guys fight over their head before. And Resendiz fought a little bit over his head. Caleb fight under his ability level. If they meet on that night, you got a problem. But I was very open about, like, you know, I know Manny Robles is a good coach, and I know not just a good coach, he's used to being an underdog in fights. And when you got a coach that's used to being an underdog, that's dangerous because he know how to keep the guy's self-esteem up. And he won the heavyweight championship of the world with Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua on short notice. So I was like, I kind of was prepared for Resendiz being better than he ever was. So no, we didn't, it wasn't underestimation on my part, and I didn't overtrain him. That's all I can really say. Other than that, I don't have, you know, I got nothing but love for Caleb. I think Caleb a terrific talent, man. I do. You know what I mean? I hope he believed that I thought that, because I think Caleb is the real deal. It was days I seen Caleb in the gym, and he looked like a lighter version of Oscar De La Hoya, bro. Like, and Oscar was a bad boy in his prime. Like, people look at him now as the promoter. I don't know how old you are, but he turned pro in '92. A lot of people now didn't see a prime Oscar. Oscar was rough.
He was one of my favorite fighters growing up.
Yeah, he reminded me of Caleb a little bit, you know, because they both really left-handed and they fight in the southpaw stance. It was days Caleb, like...
Oh, shit, you just told me something.
Yeah, and that's why he favors his hook and his jab.
I didn't know that Caleb was...
Yeah, he's really left-handed. And he remind me of Oscar, man. You know, so I really believed in Caleb and his ability. You know, things were just a little bit different this last camp. And that's all I can really say. I really don't know why. You have to ask him.
What's a deal breaker for you as a trainer?
There's a lot of deal breakers. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to get into anything out of respect for him. And I don't want to, like, speculate on what was wrong in this camp, because if I speculate openly, I could be wrong, and then that might offend him. I honestly, I don't know what happened. I just know that each camp is different, but the Durrell camp, he was coming off of the loss to Canelo, and he wasn't really sparring good, but I just felt like his effort was so high that we was going to turn it around. About the 4th or 5th week in camp, bro, he was icing people. And we went into the fight and did what we did. The Benavidez camp, I thought that camp was too long, but I was proud of him because he worked his ass off. And I knew he had to be in a different kind of shape mentally and physically for Benavidez because of what Benavidez is. He's a soul taker. So you got to push that. You got to push yourself with a guy like that because he is a soul taker. He'll take your soul from you. Mm-hmm. And I remember the Canelo fight, and I remember how, down the stretch, Caleb kind of like lost his footing. And I made sure that, I didn't want him to get stopped against Benavidez, and I almost stopped that fight. But I saw the work that he was putting in camp, and I said, you know what? Let me let this kid, and he made it through. And in the McCumbee camp, he got hurt early. You know what I mean? That was nothing to take light. That dude can punch. He got hurt early in that fight, and it seemed like everything that we worked on just all came together. And he started walking him down towards the midway point in the fight, catching and countering and going to his body. So I felt like he was improving, and we was doing things that he wasn't known to do in the 3 fights that I had with him. And I just don't know what happened in the last camp. But a deal breaker is a lot of things, man. You know what I mean? So, but I don't want to say a deal breaker because if I say a deal breaker, people are going to try to put together 2 and 2 and say, well, this is why they're not working together. And I honestly can't tell you what went wrong in the camp. I don't know what went wrong in the camp. But that's my honest truth to you.